From the NMSU Department of Journalism and Media Studies in collaboration with KRWG, this is the student-produced News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Zaira Sanchez.
And I'm Diego Gallegos. The presidential campaign is in New Mexico. Former President Donald Trump spoke at the Sunport in Albuquerque.
News 22 sent a crew to cover the rally. Here's Jenny Hazlett.
It was a cold and early morning for Republican Trump supporters in New Mexico. Attendees of the presidential Trump rally in Albuquerque began lining up as early as 5 o'clock this morning at the CSI Aviation Center. Some even decided to camp out last night to be first in line, like Brandon Borman.
This is my second rally I've been to, but it's the first time I've camped out. I've been here since 6 last night.
Attendees of all ages were surrounded by merch stands and food trucks. While they waited for opening doors at 8 a.m., people passed the time by buying branded Trump hats, shirts, and even shoes. Others could even buy scarves and gloves right from their place in line. Now, one of the main talking points supporters were hoping Trump would address were those of the border and immigration.
Well, being in New Mexico, immigration shut that border down. And the people that aren't supposed to be here, get them the hell out.
Others were just excited to be in his presence.
To see him and what he's going to say about how he's going to save us.
Yeah, also to see him because we've never seen him in person before, and I just wonder how the experience is going to be.
Donald Trump first campaigned in New Mexico in 2016 and then returned in 2019. Now, this is one of his final stops in the 2024 election campaign cycle. Now, supporters are excited and eager to hear what he had to say. He was joined on stage today by Republican U.S. Senate candidate Nella Dominici and U.S. House Congressional District 2 Yvette Harrell candidate. Now, supporters are eager to see what he had to say. Let's take a look.
Hire Kamala, and we're going to save America. We will cut taxes, end inflation, slash your prices. We're going to get those prices down, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to New Mexico. We're going to bring them back. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American.
I'm Jenny Hazlett reporting inside the rally, sending it on over to Noah Apodaca, who takes a deeper look into Trump's campaign.
Well, hey there, Jenny. I'm actually standing outside of the CSI Aviation Complex here in South Albuquerque, where Donald Trump is actually still giving his campaign rally here in one of the final days of the 2024 campaign. Now, during this speech, the crowd within the CSI Aviation Complex was very enthusiastic, some of which who we spoke to this morning. It was some of their first times hearing the former president speak, and they wanted to do that before Election Day on Tuesday. Now, during the rally, Donald Trump continued his attacks on his Democratic opponent, Kamala Harris, saying that she's in fact, quote, worse than crooked Hillary. He also doubled down on some of his continued policies, saying that he wants to secure the southern border as one of his top priorities once he gets into his office. He also mentioned lowering costs for Americans, as well as emphasizing that he will not cut Social Security and Medicare. Now, in fact, in terms of policy, Donald Trump was saying that one of the key things of why he will win New Mexico is that because it's a border state. Given that a sizable majority of New Mexico is in fact Hispanic, he says he's done a good amount for the Hispanic community and he only wants to see them grow from that. And in terms of the election, we did actually speak to a professor at NMSU who gives us a little bit more insight on what exactly the election trends is here in New Mexico for the former president and his Democratic challenger Kamala Harris. We speak to him on what exactly that is. Take a look.
The likelihood of New Mexico going red at the presidential level right now is not very high. It's sort of like a pipe dream. There's some polling sites out there that have it as lean Democrat, but in 2020, Biden carried the state by 10 percentage points. And we haven't had a really significant challenge at the statewide level from a Republican in quite some time.
Now, some of Donald Trump's rally attendees do not agree with Dr. Gomez's statement.
We need to stay red, go red, and don't go back.
Now, to close off his rally, the former president did emphasize and ask people just to get out there and vote. But for now, reporting live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I'm Noah Apodaca with News 22.
And thanks to Benny and Jenna for that report. Now, Sarah, after months and months of waiting, it's finally starting to get cold out there.
Yes, it looks like we're finally getting those fall temperatures. Ben, what can you tell us about that?
It has been a welcome change, I must say. So looking at today, right now we're sitting at about 70 degrees, clear skies, beautiful day to go outside. The winds are blowing south to north at 4 miles an hour. Humidity is standing still at about 11%. The dew point's at 12 degrees and the barometer reads just about over 30 inches at 30.09. Now, the high today was 71, very, very low, a little bit lower than average. Our low came in at 45 degrees. This is a lot compared to the all-time high of 85 degrees in 2001, and then a low of 21 degrees in 2019. We didn't get any rain today, so the yearly precipitation sits just under 4 inches. Back to you, Sada.
Thanks, Ben. Federal, state, and local law enforcement work together to keep the border safe. And last Tuesday night was an example of that cooperation.
That's right, Sarah. Texas state troopers chased a suspected smuggling vehicle into New Mexico. There, New Mexico State Police, Border Patrol with the helicopter, and Las Cruces police joined in. They eventually stopped the vehicle on Larry Lane in Las Cruces and arrested the smuggling load driver. Border Patrol also took into custody several undocumented immigrants on Chili Lane at Heritage Farm subdivision. Law enforcement says this type of chase is a danger to the public safety. And according to the Customs and Border Protection website, the Border Patrol in fiscal year 2023 in the El Paso sector busted 281 stash houses, recovered 176 deceased migrants, and rescued around 1,000 migrants.
With a week remaining until Election Day, 487,000 New Mexicans have cast a ballot since early voting began on October 8, 2024. Democrats have cast 232,000 ballots across the state, with 179,000 Republicans and 70,000 voters declined to state a party affiliation. There have been 91,000 absentee ballots requested across the state. The last day to request a mail-in absentee ballot was October 22, 2024. One item on the ballot could benefit New Mexico State University if voters approve. If approved, the Higher Education General Obligation Bond Package would authorize $230 million for capital improvements across the state and will not require a tax increase. NMSU will receive $50 million, and the University of New Mexico will get $95 million. The projects funded by the Go Bond across the NMSU system would pay for updates to infrastructure as well as building upgrades.
And stay tuned as Ben will be back with your national weather forecast. Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Thursday,
where news matters.
And Ben is next with the national weather forecast.
Well, thank you, Diego. But before we get into that, it's that time of year to fall back and get an extra hour of sleep. Daylight savings time ends on Sunday at 2 a.m. Daylight savings times runs from the second Sunday in March to the first Sunday in November, but the practice has its detractors. Lawmakers at both the local and federal levels have pushed over the years to make daylight savings time permanent. But the bill has never come to a vote, so before you go to bed Saturday night, set your clocks back and get an extra hour of sleep. All right, now while we are talking about this potentially being one of the warmest Halloweens ever, we are seeing that right here in the South. It's peaking a lot in the 80s throughout the South. In the upper Midwest, Ohio Valley region, it is in the mid-70s, which is unusually high for this time of year. It is still cold in some parts of the United States. Of course, we see in Minneapolis, it is going to be 39 degrees and raining. Same in the Pacific Northwest. If we could go to the next map. Hurricane season is coming to an end. However, we do see two hurricanes possibly starting to form in the Gulf of Mexico, where we see one possibly forming off the coast of Central America and just south of Jamaica, and another one in the Bahamas that it's less likely to happen, but it still could happen. If we go on to the next map, taking a look at our possible temperatures for Election Day. Now, in some swing states like Michigan, it will be raining. It will be raining, so that could affect voter turnout. However, in the swing states in the South and Southwest, ideal conditions. I'll be back with your local temps after the break. Welcome back, and we got your local New Mexico temperatures. We can see in the northern half of the states, we aren't getting below the low 50s, 53 in Santa Fe. And then as we begin to work down in kind of the mountains in Roswell, it is a little cold, but once we get past that, 71 in Las Cruces and 70 in Deming, unusually hot for this time of year. And tomorrow it's just going to get hotter across the board. We won't see any temperatures in the 50s today. Lowest it goes is 60 degrees in Santa Fe. Tomorrow it's going to hit 80 in Las Cruces, and then we got 77 in Deming. It is going to be unseasonably hot. We're also going to get 77 in Alamogordo. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little cloudy up in Alamogordo with a low of 42. In TRC, that's going to be about a high of 76, still cloudy, low peaking at 39 in the night. Silver City, it's going to be 70 degrees, high of 39, all sunny, clear skies. And then in Las Cruces, it's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow, an unusual high with partly cloudy skies and 45 degrees at night. Back to the desk.
Now, Syra, did you see that World Series game last night? I heard it was crazy.
Unfortunately, I did not.
Yeah, me neither. Tristan, can you catch us up with that?
Now I can. Thanks, y'all. Coming up, 2 battles, an I-10 and a World Series. Unhand that remote because News 22 Sports is next.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
For the win! He got it! And welcome back. It's Halloween. I'm Tristan Tomez. Let's talk sports. The Halloween Battle of I-10 is currently raging at the NMSU soccer complex. Now, the Aggie soccer team is once again facing off against their rivals from UTEP, with the match starting at 6 o'clock today. The Aggies defeated LA Tech 2-1 last Sunday, securing their 10th win of the season. They now stand at 11-2-3 all-time in Conference USA contests and 6-0-2 in home matchups. They're on fire. Once the regular season is done, the Aggies will move on to Miami for the CUSA Championships. And the second battle of I-10 is set to commence tomorrow, the first day of November. The Aggies women's tennis team will duke it out with UTEP's team at the El Paso, Texas Tennis Club, but when is still up for debate. Now, the Aggies will be looking to avenge their close 3-4 loss against UTEP in April. Players to look out for include Lisa Zhu and Anna Binayeva, both of whom performed exceptionally at the Mountain Regional Championships. Now, in swimming, the Aggies women's team fell a little short at Northern Colorado, 132-168 against the Bears at Butler Hancock Pool, but they did take 8 wins across 16 events, including a win in the 400 free relay. Now, their next meet will be at the NMSU Swimming Complex and Diving Complex against the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, which will take place this month. Ooh, that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action next week, still ahead on News 22. My boy Ben will be back to take a look at your 5-day weather forecast.
So as we take a look at our 5-day forecast, it looks like it'll finally get a lot colder in New Mexico. We're going to get into the 60s as a high on Sunday and Monday, and it might even rain on Saturday, but tomorrow's going to be a high of 80 degrees. That's all we got for the 5-day.
Thanks for joining us. Happy Halloween.
Boo!
This news brief en español is brought to you by Noticias 22, la información más completa de Nuevo México, El Paso y la frontera. Noticias 22.
Buenas tardes, es Arturo Quesada con las breves de hoy con Noticias 22. En vista de las próximas elecciones, el expresidente Donald Trump visitó Albuquerque hoy a mediodía como parada en su mitin de campaña presidencial. La visita es la primera vez que Trump regresa a Nuevo México desde 2019. Para las personas que fueron al mitin presidencial, comenzaron a hacer fila desde las 5 a.m. de esta mañana en el Centro de Aviación CSI.
Sabes que él cree en que todos somos igual. Él cree que los latinos deben de tener los propios trabajos y él nos soporta.
La campaña de Kamala Harris estuvo en Phoenix, Arizona. Ahora los demócratas pensaron que estos últimos esfuerzos les gane la elección. El tráfico de humanos sigue en las fronteras con muchos arrestos. El martes por la noche, la Policía Estatal de Texas intentaron detener un auto que sospechaban transportaba inmigrantes. La Policía Estatal de Nuevo México también asistió en la persecución cuando el auto cruzó a Nuevo México. La Policía Estatal detuvieron al traficante en Las Cruces. El arresto se tomó a cabo en la calle Larry Lane y la calle Chile Court, cerca de la prepa de Las Cruces. Varios migrantes fueron detenidos y transportados por la patrulla fronteriza. Eso es todo por ahora. Gracias por vernos. Nos vemos la próxima semana.